Not all men are created equal. That's just the plain and simple truth. I used to think, until just very recently, that as humans, we had certain prime directives. We had certain internal predispositions that were natural to every human being. Now, two of the biggest ones, would be to expand ourselves, often through attaining new information and new experiences, and then being able to, second, create. So expand and create. And then we create in new and innovative ways, taking one experience with a piece of information. Never before have those been put together, and you find a new and novel way to put them together, and you innovate and create either the ways to change your life and your circumstances, or how to change the world at large. So I used to think this was true. Now, I don't know if this is because it's a generational thing or if it is something that I just didn't understand before. Every single person who's a motivational speaker, who's made it big, who's doing everything that they truly can to change their circumstances, to gain control, to grab the reins of their life, every single one of those people will always talk to other people about, hey, you can do this. Anybody can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. You just got to blank, 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 blank. And then the overwhelming majority of individuals who hear all of that information, man, they get off on it in the moment. They feel it and they're hyped up and they're ready to go, and then they don't follow through. They don't follow up or follow through. And most of the people who talk to these individuals, who try to hype them up, who try to motivate them, will often even say, most of you will not do this. They even say that. So we already know when we're talking to people that they are most likely not going to do the things that it takes in order to become successful. This is crazy. Now, in life, it has been normal in our history. It has been normal in our history. Every race has been conquered and enslaved. Every race on this planet. Now, they've either been conquered and enslaved by another race or by members of their own race. Doesn't matter. Every race has been enslaved and conquered. It would appear that there is something about the human system, about the human condition, that finds this somehow normal. And what's crazy is slavery never ended. Slavery did not end. It just changed forms. I love the way it was worded one time that I heard it, and I was like, whoa. The guy said, when slaves are given food, clothing, and shelter for the work that they performed, whether it was against their will or not, doesn't matter. And now you are literally paid, most of you are literally paid just enough to have food, clothing, shelter, and most importantly, a few distractions. So before, people were bound by chains and recognized it, but was held there through fear. Now they give you the distractions so that you never question the system. You never question it. We still have slave masters and slaves today. Most likely you are a slave. Almost without doubt, you are a slave. You're a slave to the system in some way. You're most likely a slave to your own whims, your own base desires, your need to just float as gently and as slowly as you can through life. Because maybe if you float slow enough, you won't make any waves. So you could truly die in fucking anonymity. Nobody cared or knew when you were here, and nobody will notice when you disappear. Perfect for you if that's what you want. But we still have slaves today. You're either a slave to the system, therefore the government owns you, plain and simple. They tax you. I mean, they're taxing you all the time. They own you. Whether you want to think of it a different way or not, they own you. And then the rich profit off of you. Yet you will sit down and complain, oh, taxes are too high, the government is this, the problems with that. No man should have that much wealth, when you're talking about like billionaires and people that are super rich. No man should have that much wealth, no man should have that much power. But yet you're not going to do the most basic things that it takes to reach and attain escape velocity. The overwhelming majority of you, man, for most of your lives, depending on your age, either your whole life or most of your lives, have the entire world's knowledge in your pocket at all points in time. Anything that you could possibly need or want to know is literally a few clicks away. And most of you won't ever even do that. Most of you never even bother to look that stuff up. You'll think, damn, I wonder. And then that, as far as that goes. Not only that, today we have AI. AI can now take that same information and organize it for you. Can organize it for you. Put it in terms that if you couldn't understand it before, it can put it in terms that you can understand it now. Yet, most of you are not even going to do that. If you weren't willing to Google some shit, you're damn sure not going to be willing to chat GPT some shit. Almost without doubt, you're not going to do it. That's the craziness. That's the part that I don't understand. I would say that most of you men want to live on easy mode. You want to live on, put it on women's mode. Boop, make it easy and float through life. You just want to live on vacation. You just want to be on vacation all the time. Sleep in every day and get a 2-hour nap every day. That's all you want. Travel, play games, and just kick it. Now, I used to think that that would be a woman's dream life, right? Because they talk about that all the time. I hear the one thing I hear all the time, I just want to turn my brain off. That is a very normal statement for women. I have heard that hundreds of times. And they will even say, when a woman is with a man that she trusts and knows has her back and will like protect her, she turns her brain off. She doesn't even notice like dangers that are happening. She will be completely clueless to it. She turns her brain off. That's what women seem to want. Not all women, but as a rule, that seems to be the case. And then they all want to sleep in. They need more sleep than we do. Apparently, that is definitely true. They need a minimum of 10 hours of sleep, solid hours of sleep, to operate efficiently. Not all women, but a lot of women, most women. So they just want to kind of coast through life, right? I used to think that that was a woman's way of thinking. And I used to think that any man that would want to live like that would be highly fucking effeminate, obviously. But the truth is nowadays, women are running circles around you motherfuckers. Women are running circles around you guys. They will have a job or an internship, same damn thing, going to college, doing all their damn homework, and some of them even have kids. They are running circles around you guys. Now, I used to think that this was an internal, like a masculine internal frame that was inside every man to build, protect, and destroy. I used to think that was inside every man. Right now, I'm questioning that. I don't think that's inside every man. I think most men are conditioned to submit, to be submissive, and to follow. That's why women are running all over your asses all over the place right now. You guys are complaining about these women and how they're acting. You guys will talk about how women, they don't respect you, they're not giving you the time of day, they're not paying attention to you. Why the fuck would they? Why would they? What would be the purpose in it for them? What would be behind them paying attention to a guy who's not about conquering shit? He ain't trying to do a fucking thing. What would be the purpose of that? So I used to think that the internal prime directive of every human being, most human beings, was to expand themselves, like I said, information, experience, information, knowledge, and experience. Then create, put those things together in new, novel ways and create an innovative way to change the face of the planet, if not just the way that they live, their lives and their circumstances. I used to think that was an internal prime directive. That doesn't seem to be the case. And I don't know if it's because here in America, we just have it so easy. I don't know if it's because you guys are growing up with everything so easy, it's just handed to you. You never had to struggle for shit. You don't have to worry about a damn thing. So you want to live like a woman. I just want to be on vacation all the time. I just want to travel. You don't want to build nothing? You don't want to help people? You don't want to do none of this stuff? So I used to think that. Now I'm pretty certain that is not the case. And I don't know if it's just because it's a new generation or not. My thinking is our success stories, the people that we listen to are people that have success stories. So they have the loudest voices. We hear them and we hear their stories all the time. So we think, or we come to believe that this is how men mostly think, but it's not true. Because like I said, every motivational speaker, every person who's done it is turn around in the same fucking sentence, in the same speech and say, most of you are not gonna do this. And we all know, most of you are not gonna do this. And while you're listening to it and you're all hyped up, you know you're not gonna do it. So I don't think so. I think there are men who are meant to conquer, to rule, to take life by the reins and change their circumstances. There are plenty of examples. I mean, Alexander the Great is a good one, but there are plenty of examples. My personal favorite is Toyotomi Hideyoshi. I'm probably murdering his name. The point is, this dude was a sandal carrier. To my understanding, a sandal carrier is literally just that. The man holds another man's sandals and runs alongside his horse. So when he gets off the horse, he can put his sandals down for the man to put his sandals on. I can't, I mean, there's some lower things. Don't get me wrong. There's some much worse things that can be, as a man that can happen and places that you can be. However, that's a pretty fucking low station. That is a pretty fucking low station. This man rose up in his one single lifetime, rose up to be one of the greatest unifiers in Japan's history. He didn't quite reach the pinnacle of stations, which I believe is the shogun, due to his quote unquote peasant lineage. However, this man basically was the de facto fucking leader of Japan at the time. This man rose from being a sandal carrier. Most of you will not get out of your low paying job. Most of you will not get out of the position to where you don't have to pay taxes anymore. Believe it or not, guys, there are plenty of ways to where you do not have to pay taxes, or you're going to pay a lot less. Fucking Donald Trump, man. That year he paid $700 and some odd in taxes when he was running for president the first time, and they exposed that. Listen, I am sure that man was upset that he had to pay $700. Who fucked up that he had to pay $700? I'm sure somebody was probably fired over that. There are plenty of ways, but you have to figure these things out, and you have to do the work. Some of you are like, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. You don't have the fucking, not only do you, even if you have the skill set, you do not have the temperament. When you're an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7. There's no such thing as the time when you're not working. That is just not a thing. Now, once you build it high enough, if you get super high, yes, you can have some time to yourself. Yes, you can absolutely do that. Most of the time, that's not going to be the case. The people that are at the highest levels, them motherfuckers are just working. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about Mr. Beast, Jeff Bezos. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. Them people are just working. Mr. Beast lives in his warehouse. He lives in a tiny little fucking room in the warehouse, or the studio, where he films everything. This man he is just working. And that's what it's going to take. So even if you had the skill set, even if you figured out like, okay, I'm going to do my LLC, I'm going to do all these things, most of you do not have the ability to actually make it a truly successful endeavor because you don't have the ability to just fucking work. You don't have the ability to build and to protect and to destroy, to gain market share, to do whatever it takes to be successful. My point of this video is, you either are the person who holds the chains or you're the person who's bound by them. The government owns you and the rich profit off of you. If you're just sitting around and complaining, you're never gonna make it. You have to have the fucking balls. I don't know, they're like, oh, well, testosterone is lower in men now. Well, it doesn't matter. Do something about it. I don't care what you fucking do. Just believe you're a man until you fucking become one. If you do not learn how to have an insatiable desire to build something to the point to where you reach escape velocity, you are always going to be the slave, period. There is no other choice. There is nothing in between. Most of you are so happy with the scraps that you're finding under the table of the people that own you and profit off of you. And that's all you want. Now, I don't understand this mindset. I don't understand it. But I can say that the one thing that is for sure, one thing that is for fucking sure, if you really want it, you can have it. If you really fucking want it, you can have it. But man, you gotta want it. I used to think I liked the one where the guy was like, well, you need to want success like you want air. No, you need to fight for success like you would fight for air. That's what you need to do. If somebody was strangling you and you were about to fucking die, how hard would you fight back? That's how hard you need to fight. That's how much effort you need to be giving to get successful. If you are good enough at this, you can reach escape velocity. Once you reach escape velocity, once you're at that point, it is just like that. It's velocity. You just keep on moving. You keep on going. Now you can ride the momentum and you can kind of take, you don't have to give it as much gas anymore. You just got to maintain it at that point. But if you do not put in the work to reach escape velocity, you are always going to be a slave. So you have to put that in your mind. Are you going to be the slave owner or are you going to be somebody's bitch for the rest of your life?